Hikaru is just a regular middle school kid who minds his own business in a city where giant corporations fight over living robotic weapons called mecha. One night, he finds a mysterious glowing cube on the street, and the moment he touches it, a robotic arm named Alma crawls out and fuses itself onto his back. Doctors test him and find out he has the weakest power reading anyone has ever recorded. Everyone tells him he is useless, and for a while he believes them too. But Alma chose him not for his strength, but for his heart, and the moment Hikaru finally accepts it, he ends up unlocking Alma's true powers and becomes the strongest. However, before any of this, Hikaru rides his bike through a futuristic city filled with tall buildings, bright advertisements, and flying drones. As he weaves through the busy streets, his attention is drawn upward when he notices unusual activity on top of a distant building. From far away, he cannot fully understand what is happening, but something important seems to be taking place. Earlier that night, inside the same building, a serious security incident unfolded. Armed guards discovered that a valuable object had been stolen. The thief is a girl equipped with advanced mechanical arms called mecha. These robotic limbs grant her extraordinary speed and strength, allowing her to climb walls and leap across the building with ease. Reaching a balcony, she is quickly surrounded by dozens of armed guards who raise their weapons at her. As she prepares to fight, a glowing tattoo on her leg activates, powering her arms to their maximum capacity. The guards recognize her as a mecha user, realizing that her strength and agility far surpass human limits. However, the security team is prepared and deploys special weapons designed to weaken mechanical arms. Suddenly, a man using his own mecha steps into the fight. Unlike the girl, he treats his mechanical limbs purely as tools, showing no regard for their possible awareness. Her robotic arms react with surprise, as if unable to comprehend why another mecha would serve humans in this way. The man uses bladed chains attached to his arms to grab the stolen object, forcing her to defend it. She commands her arms, Sinis and Dex, to attack, breaking through the temporary effects of the anti-Yude weapons. An intense fight goes on the balcony as bullets fly, but she dodges them while focusing entirely on her opponent. After a long battle, she recovers the stolen object, but the container holding it cracks, releasing a sudden surge of energy. A bright beam shoots into the sky, visible from across the city. Amid the chaos, a small cube falls from the container and tumbles off the edge of the building, disappearing into the streets below. The next morning, Hikaru wakes up to a strange feeling. As his alarm stops, he hears a weak voice in his head asking for help. After getting ready, he heads into the city. On the subway, he reflects on the previous night's events. Curious about the explosion, he searches online and finds an article about a powerful businessman connected to a major corporation. Reading the comments, he notices people claiming that ordinary individuals can achieve nothing in a world dominated by influential companies. A tired passenger accidentally causes a minor disturbance, drawing Hikaru's attention to a pregnant woman and two elderly women whispering nearby. He notices an ad promoting a prestigious prep school linked to the same corporation, reminding him of the pressure young people face to succeed. As the passenger offers his seat to the pregnant woman, Hikaru remembers he needs to get off the train, but three classmates approach him. Their conversation drifts to sports and famous athletes. One mentions Yakuma Kagami, a legendary figure in baseball, while attention has recently shifted to a rising player named Kosuke Tagawa. Hikaru's mind is distracted, barely hearing their discussion. Meanwhile, the young woman with the mechanical arms searches the city for the cube that fell during the explosion. Her arm informs her that it must have landed nearby, meaning it can still be recovered if she moves quickly. Hikaru begins recounting the previous night to his friends. He explains that he heard a mysterious voice and saw a glowing explosion at the Kagami building. From a higher vantage point, he recorded the event with his phone, although the falling object is not clearly visible. Another girl, Shirayama, joins the group. Tagawa jokes about Hikaru seeing visions, making Hikaru embarrassed. He admits that the voice simply asked for help. Suddenly, Hikaru feels compelled to follow the source of the voice. He runs away from his friends, guided by an unknown force, and reaches a restricted area. A police officer warns him not to enter, but as the officer leaves, the voice grows stronger. Hikaru climbs over a barrier and approaches a small metal door leading into a dark room. Inside, he discovers the cube from the building explosion. Wondering if it is the source of the voice, he watches as it begins glowing and jumps onto his hoodie. Far away, The young woman with mechanical arms notices the light and realizes the cube has been found. A robotic arm slowly emerges from the cube, examining the room carefully. Hikaru spins around in confusion as the arm attaches itself to his back. Terrified, he cannot understand what is happening, but the arm expresses gratitude, admitting that it has no memory of its identity. Feeling guilty as the arm cries like a frightened child, Hikaru apologizes despite not fully understanding the creature. Their encounter quickly draws danger. Drones from the Kagami Corporation identify Hikaru as a threat and attack with spinning blades. Hikaru runs through the streets, the robotic arm clinging to him. He tries offering the arm to the drones, but the arm instead protects him, destroying the machines. More drones arrive, forcing them to cooperate in order to survive. Meanwhile, inside the Kagami Corporation's office, the president Naohito Kagami receives a report that the trigger arm has been found, now attached to an ordinary boy. Calmly, he orders his subordinates to secure the surrounding area and recover the arm at any cost. Hikaru and the robotic arm hide and briefly catch their breath. He asks the arm what it is, but it cannot answer due to missing memories. However, it recognizes Hikaru's kindness. Hikaru insists he did nothing special, but the arm explains that without a substance called arbitrium, it would not function. Hikaru's presence keeps it powered, so he stays nearby. Soon, the drones return. Alma, as the arm is named, pulls Hikaru away to escape again. At the same time, a skilled fighter named Aki Murasame tracks the source of a mysterious beam to their location. Using her own mechanical arms, she destroys several drones and confronts Alma directly. Before Aki can capture Alma, a Kagami employee named Kazuha intervenes, giving Hikaru and Alma a chance to escape through a narrow path. Although they avoid capture briefly, Aki catches up after defeating her opponent. Alma offers to surrender if Aki spares Hikaru, but Hikaru refuses to abandon it. He decides to fight instead of running, motivated by the idea that ordinary people must seize their own chances. Alma urges Hikaru to trust it. As they charge together, Alma activates its full power, striking Aki with tremendous force. The attack knocks her down, creating a chance to escape. Hikaru and Alma run while Kagami agents continue searching the area. During the escape, Hikaru formally introduces himself to Alma. Elsewhere, a sick boy collapses, declaring that the powerful trigger arm belongs to him. Aki's organization regrets the mission's failure but insists that Alma must be recovered before it falls into enemy hands, giving her new orders to capture the mechanical arm at any cost. The Kagami Group investigators quickly examine the recent chaos caused by the mysterious trigger arm. By reviewing surveillance footage and witness statements, they identify the person involved, Hikaru, a regular middle school student who has unexpectedly become involved in a dangerous situation. To the investigators, he is simply an obstacle standing between them and the powerful mechanical arm. Among the investigators, Tuz studies the reports carefully. She notes that targeting a young boy like Hikaru is cruel, as he clearly does not understand what is happening. Her partner, Wunner, takes a harsher view, arguing that the importance of the arm makes extreme measures necessary. He questions whether Tuz feels sympathy for the boy. Annoyed, Tuz pinches Wunner's leg and points out that people with attitudes like his make investigators seem unserious. She calmly admits that even if necessary, she would still follow orders. Meanwhile, Hikaru tries to calm himself in a school restroom. After the previous night's events, he hopes for a brief moment of peace. Alma, the mechanical arm, appears beside him. Alma notes that Aki does not seem openly hostile at the moment, and suggests they might try speaking with her calmly. Hikaru immediately rejects the idea, remembering that Aki threatened to kill him earlier. He decides it is safer to avoid her or involve the authorities, though he is unsure if police intervention would help. Amid this tension, Alma begins playing with the toilet paper in the restroom, unrolling it all over the floor and even wrapping Hikaru in it. Alma explains that curiosity prompted this strange behavior. The scene grows more chaotic when Aki appears, warning Hikaru that the police cannot help him because they are under Kagami Group influence. She even offers to protect him temporarily. Panicking, Hikaru flees the restroom. Shirayama, a student nearby, witnesses Aki chasing Hikaru and is shocked by the intensity of the pursuit. Later, Hikaru meets his friends, who ask about the strange events with Aki. He tries to explain that she literally chased him around school, but his friends laugh, assuming he is hiding something embarrassing. Aki appears again in the distance, and a classmate unknowingly points toward Hikaru's location. Hikaru escapes, searching for another hiding place inside the building. Shirayama approaches Aki and politely offers her cookies, noticing that Aki seems awkward around others. Aki accepts the gift, forming a small connection with Shirayama. From a distance, Hikaru and Alma watch, still unsure whether to trust Aki. Alma suggests they might try cooperating, but Hikaru is not ready to confront her. He decides to rest, using noise-canceling headphones to block out distractions, which fascinates Alma. Later, Shirayama delivers a note from Aki, asking Hikaru to meet her after school in the art room of the old school building. Shirayama scolds him for avoiding the meeting and insists he should respond honestly. When Hikaru enters the quiet room, he notices Aki has asked Shirayama to leave. Aki explains that Shirayama had actually arranged most of the meeting. Hikaru is confused by how casually Aki uses Shirayama's first name despite knowing her briefly. Aki explains that she belongs to an organization called ARMS, whose mission is to protect Mecha Youth and prevent powerful corporations from controlling them. Since Hikaru is connected to the trigger arm Alma, ARMS must ensure his safety. Alma begins to weaken when separated from Hikaru, making cooperation necessary. Hikaru agrees to follow Aki, seeking answers about the strange events surrounding him. Aki examines the bond between Hikaru and Alma, though her own Mecha Youth occasionally interrupts the discussion, making communication difficult. Aki instructs Alma to grow larger, demonstrating its power, but Alma quickly weakens again. Hikaru takes advantage of the moment to run, carrying Alma. Aki immediately pursues him through the school, frustrated by his escape. Shirayama shouts that Hikaru should just talk to Aki, further increasing his panic. Meanwhile, Investigator Twos becomes suspicious after losing track of her partner and enters the school. Hikaru, running upstairs, finds himself cornered. Aki's mechanical arms search the area, trying to locate him. Suddenly, a hole opens in the ceiling, and Hikaru is captured by Aki's abilities. She questions his intentions, noting that his earlier behavior suggested he could have defeated her but chose not to. One of Aki's arms tries to clarify that Hikaru does not seem to be a threat, yet Aki insists the bond between him and Alma must be tested. Alma briefly regains some power but weakens again. Aki warns Hikaru that separating from the arm could harm it. Before they can resolve the situation, Shirayama bursts in, misunderstanding the scene and quickly leaving. At that moment, Wonner infiltrates the school, wearing Kagami Group attire. His goal is to eliminate Alma's host and retrieve the trigger arm. He reveals his own mechanical limbs and a sonic weapon designed to incapacitate enemies instantly. A sniper outside the building gains a clear shot through the open door. Hikaru narrowly avoids the attack while Aki blocks another with her metal arm. Aki notices that Wonner's arms are restrained by chains, meaning they are not free Mecha Youth but controlled devices. She orders Hikaru to hide with Alma while she fights. Wonner continues his assault, using energy blades, and Hikaru begins losing hope. Alma urges him to follow its instructions, reminding him that it weakens if separated. Hikaru stays close, moving carefully while carrying Alma downstairs. Twos, suspicious after losing contact with Wonner, enters the building. She discovers Aki captured by enemy agents, her Mecha Youth restrained by chains. Offered the opportunity to take control of the captured arms, Twos refuses, asserting that she is not like them. Hikaru, carrying Alma, devises a plan. When Wonner fires the sonic weapon, Hikaru avoids the sound using his noise-canceling headphones and throws Alma toward Aki. Alma breaks the chains, controlling her Mecha Youth. Despite damage to his headphones from a sniper, Hikaru's strategy succeeds. Freed from the chains, Aki uses Twos as cover and charges Wonner directly. She delivers a powerful strike, defeating him. The fight destroys part of the old school building. Twos escapes while Wonner is trapped in the rubble. Other ARMS members arrive, criticizing Aki for the destruction. Meanwhile, authorities investigate the situation involving Alma, while another organization, White Raven, is contacted after discovering a dangerous Mecha Youth called Ouroboros has been stolen. After the battle, Hikaru is taken to ARMS headquarters. The organization opposes the Kagami Group and works to free mechanical arms from human control. The leader, Algis, introduces himself and his own Mecha Youth, Fist. Alma recognizes Fist as an older brother figure and assures that lost memories will eventually return. Although ARMS needs Alma for their mission, they clarify to Hikaru that while the mechanical arm is important, he himself may not be essential to their plans. At the same time, another figure linked to a dangerous Mecha Youth called Ouroboros appeared, signaling further trouble. Meanwhile, Hikaru was training by doing push-ups while talking with Aki. He admitted that it hurt him when people called him useless to the resistance. At the same time, a scientist analyzed Hikaru's abilities while he slept and discovered he possessed a special power called arbitrium. This power comes from the human mind and allows people to control Mechayud. However, the scientist found that Hikaru had an extremely low level of arbitrium, even weaker than most people. A doctor named Quinn used this data to claim that Hikaru was not truly suited to be Alma's partner, arguing that he was only a temporary host and lacked real strength. Alma disagreed strongly. He defended Hikaru, saying the boy had a kind heart, always helped others, and that without him, Alma would not exist in the present moment. Despite Alma's belief, Quinn insisted that the data showed Hikaru had no real future as a Mechayud user. Aki disagreed with Quinn's harsh assessment. She believed that Hikaru could still improve because he could draw strength from Alma. She offered to train him and help him grow stronger. Hikaru doubted whether training would make a difference because he often felt like he caused more trouble than he solved. Aki explained that arbitrium was linked to a person's spirit and determination. By strengthening his will, his power could grow. She reminded him that he had once wanted to help Alma and encouraged him to stay motivated. Before their conversation continued, Aki received a call from ARMS about a new emergency. Thieves had been stealing Mechayud from their human partners, and the third theft had just occurred. The group had to act quickly, because if Mechayud were separated from their hosts for too long, they would die. Alma initially did not understand the danger, but one of Aki's mechanical arms explained that when a Mechayud is forcibly separated, its arbitrium slowly leaks out from the connection point called a Diri's point. Without their partner, Mechayud could die within a few days. Even though Hikaru had weak abilities, Alma's safety was critical. Meanwhile, at the Kagami Company headquarters, the president's staff reported that June Kagami's location was still unknown. June had embarrassed the family by stealing an unfinished Mechayud. Some staff suspected that someone from the company had secretly helped him escape. Others suggested that the White Ravens, a skilled Mechayud group, might be called in to pursue him. Elsewhere, Aki continued investigating without informing authorities. Imada, a White Ravens member, searched for June alongside his Mechayud named Joe. Their goal was to capture June and protect their group's reputation. During the search, Aki suddenly appeared with Hikaru and asked if they knew anything about a worm-type mecha carrier. Without hesitation, the White Ravens attacked Aki, but she quickly summoned her mechanical arms, Sinis and Dex, to fight back. During the chaos, Hikaru noticed a green-haired boy struggling to breathe while using an inhaler. Wanting to help, Hikaru ran toward him, not realizing the boy was actually June. His distraction allowed June to escape. Imada transformed Joe into a motorcycle to chase June through the streets. Hikaru then encountered more White Ravens members trying to stop him. One of them prepared to strike, but Alma appeared, protecting Hikaru with its trigger arm. Imada continued pursuing June on the motorcycle, but June managed to evade capture. Alma chased him, though the motorcycle was faster. Aki intervened, landing a powerful kick that knocked Joe off balance and threw Imada from his bike. She then questioned the White Ravens about the worm-type mecha carrier. To intimidate them, Aki threw a large container near the group, forcing them to admit they did not know anything and were chasing June for their own reasons. Afterward, Aki turned her frustration toward Hikaru. She blamed him for endangering Alma by running after June and called him useless. Hikaru argued back, saying Aki had involved him in the dangerous situation, and feeling overwhelmed, he ran away. Meanwhile, June took a photo of Alma during his search. Later, Hikaru received a call from Aki's phone, but the caller was actually June. He had captured one of Aki's partners and demanded Alma in exchange for their release. Algis contacted Hikaru, telling him to wait for backup, but Hikaru felt powerless. Alma reminded him of his past successes helping others, but Hikaru felt his courage came only from the mechanical arm. Despite this, he decided to face June alone. When Hikaru confronted June, he realized June was the green-haired boy he had tried to help before. Alma promised to assist in rescuing Sinis and Dex, though June only cared about capturing the powerful trigger arm. The fight began with June attacking fiercely using his worm-type Mechayud. Alma guided Hikaru's movements, but June's abilities were strong and precise. June mocked Hikaru, claiming weak people could never change anything. Hikaru, remembering his past struggles and feelings of uselessness, refused to give up. Fueled by frustration and determination, he rushed forward and landed a punch. June fought back, using electrical attacks from his mecha-yude to shock both Hikaru and Alma. Jun eventually trapped Hikaru with his tentacle-like arms and sent another shock through his body, believing he had won. At that moment, Alma suddenly attacked again, pretending to be defeated, though it weakened quickly because of distance from Hikaru. Remembering their connection, Hikaru moved closer despite his injuries. Upon touching Alma's trigger arm, a surge of energy flowed through both of them, strengthening their bond and significantly increasing their combined power. Hikaru now blocked every strike from Jun. After a tense and exhausting battle, Hikaru delivered a final powerful punch that defeated Jun. Just as the fight ended, a mysterious boy from Kagami headquarters arrived, explaining he was only retrieving his master and had no intention of fighting. He considered taking Senies and Dex, but ultimately returned the mecha-yude after Hikaru insisted. The following day, Aki visited Hikaru, seeing him repairing the hoodie Alma used to stay hidden. She admitted she had become involved in these conflicts because a worm-type mecha-yude had once killed her family. She thanked Hikaru for rescuing her companions and took over the sewing work, saying he was too slow. Shirayama arrived and jokingly assumed she had interrupted a romantic moment. Alma, believing the cookies Shirayama brought were for Hikaru, dragged him into a playful struggle over them. As night fell, members of the ARMS organization worried about whether Hikaru could handle the dangerous mission ahead. Their discussion ended when a Kagami transport truck arrived at the scene. The enemy celebrated, thinking the mechanical shackle on the truck would make the mecha-yude easy to control. The scientists had removed its self-awareness. Hikaru hid inside the truck, thinking about why he had become involved in these events. Alma ignored the plan and attacked the driver, flipping the truck and creating chaos. Hikaru ran to safety while Alma grabbed a cable to pull them away. The escape was interrupted when the truck exploded, and a powerful enemy fighter named Threeg appeared, demanding the return of his mecha-yude. Hikaru was shocked by the sudden danger, and Alma moved quickly to protect him. Tani and Karex arrived to help, but the enemy was extremely strong. Threeg fired an explosive attack, destroying part of a bridge and sending his own mecha-yude flying. Aki then arrived and interrupted the fight, preventing further destruction. The large enemy fighter was surprised to see Aki controlling 2 mecha-yude and revealed he had 3 mechanical arms of his own. He attacked wildly but soon collapsed from exhaustion because his body could not handle the pressure. Senies and Dex mocked him for trying to control multiple mecha-yude without proper training. Just as he prepared to call for backup, something wrapped around his neck, and he suddenly transformed into a giant, launching powerful attacks. Aki avoided the strikes, noticing that the enemy seemed controlled by an unknown force. Hikaru arrived with Alma and joined the battle. Aki complained that Hikaru should have escaped instead of returning, but Alma blocked the enemy's attacks and protected everyone. During the fight, Hikaru's movements became more precise and controlled, contrasting with the enemy's wild attacks. Aki wondered how the enemy had managed to keep fighting even after losing energy. After the mission, Aki returned to the base and showered. Memories of her sister, who had called herself the princess and Aki the hero, returned. Aki had once promised to protect her sister no matter what happened. After finishing, she looked at a family photo and thought quietly about the past. Soon afterward, she met Quen at the base, who reported that a captured Kagami member had not revealed any useful information, and none of his mecha-yude were of the worm type. The next morning, Alma woke Hikaru early to get ready for school. Aki suddenly appeared at his window and hurried him along, even throwing him into his classroom seat. Their classmates misunderstood the situation, assuming there was a romantic connection between Hikaru and Aki, though that was not the case. Hikaru was called to the rooftop via the school intercom and met Jun Kagami, the transfer student. Jun explained that he had come specifically to meet Hikaru and retrieve Alma. Hikaru and Aki confronted him, but Jun received a warning through an earpiece that prevented him from using his mecha-yude at school. He said his mecha-yude, Uroboros, needed time to adjust to his body. During this time, he wanted to understand how Hikaru could use Alma before planning to take it back. The ARMS group debated Jun's presence at school, and Jun warned Hikaru to remain alert outside the campus. Aki began following Hikaru everywhere to ensure Alma would not be captured. Hikaru tried to escape her attention and briefly slipped away. Jun invited Hikaru to lunch during this discussion. Jun showed Alma a rare black credit card and explained some details while Hikaru asked about Alma's past. Aki suddenly arrived and dragged Hikaru away, telling Jun that if he wanted to treat someone, he should take her to an expensive buffet instead. Hikaru later tried to go to the bathroom, but Aki continued following him. The school was holding a sports tournament that day. Aki accidentally hit Hikaru with another ball while rushing to help him. Shirayama noticed the tension between Aki and June and suggested a duel to settle their rivalry. Aki agreed but set the condition that if she won, June must leave Hikaru alone. Hikaru offered to pay for Aki's favorite buffet to cancel the duel, and she happily accepted. Finally, Hikaru had the chance to speak privately with June. Alma revealed he remembered nothing about his past. June showed a photograph revealing a shocking truth. Alma was once connected to the Kagami family, specifically Yakumo Kagami, the founder of the company that had shaped the city of Kita Kagami. Alma was horrified to think he might have helped the family harm other mecha-yude in the past. June admitted he did not know the full story and suggested they continue investigating. Meanwhile, Aki received a call from Quen about a worm-type mecha-yude user. Hikaru and Alma searched the library for information about the city's history and found a portrait of Yakumo Kagami. Seeing it filled Alma with anger because of the family's cruel treatment of mecha-yude. Alma realized the truth about his past was close but still could not remember fully. Elsewhere, Aki confronted the mysterious worm-type user who had captured Tanny. The enemy violently destroyed cars and mecha-yude in anger. Sinis and Dex attacked, but the enemy avoided them easily. The enemy attached a device to Tanny, forcing him to fight against his friends. Aki was forced to defeat Tanny to stop him. Hikaru rushed to help with Oyama, and the injured fighters were taken to the ARMS headquarters. Scientists and doctors worked desperately to save them. Algis reported that Tanny would recover, but Karex's survival was uncertain. Hikaru suggested repairing the damaged mecha-yude with replacement parts, but the team explained that mecha-yude were living beings with their own thoughts and feelings. They revealed that mecha-yude originally came from another dimension with families and a homeland. A mysterious cube called Orila had given them life on Earth. When humans tried to awaken Orila's full power, something went wrong. Alma had used all his energy to seal Orila and fell into a deep sleep. Alma's lost memories were key to unlocking the seal. Aki met with Quen to discuss a dangerous worm-type tech user she had been searching for. Quen revealed that the enemy was still at large and had been stealing mechas from different users for many months. Not just the recent incidents involving June. Aki became furious and demanded to know why Quen had not informed her earlier. Quen explained that he had only recently discovered the information while hacking the ARMS database to help Aki. Suddenly, an alarm went off, signaling that the worm-type tech user had appeared in the city. Aki immediately rushed to confront the enemy and tracked it to an empty parking garage. When she arrived, she was shocked to find the enemy was actually her younger sister, Fubuki. Seeing Fubuki alive brought back memories of their childhood. They had often played together, though Fubuki's strange games were sometimes hard for Aki to understand. Their mother had often taken Fubuki for experiments because of her special abilities. The last time Aki saw her sister, Fubuki had entered an experiment room with a smile, and moments later, a fire and explosion destroyed the facility. In the present, Aki, Sinis, and Dex were stunned to see Fubuki alive. Suddenly, her worm-type mecha appeared, and Sinis and Dex acted quickly to control it. They had many questions, but there was no time to discuss them because ARMS agents were approaching. The group escaped, leaving only a cracked wall and one of Aki's broken hair clips as evidence. Outside, Aki captured the worm-type mecha and angrily questioned it. Fubuki became extremely upset and repeatedly apologized, feeling responsible for the tragedy. Amaryllis tried to calm her, while Sinis and Dex demanded an explanation. Amaryllis revealed what had happened during the experiment years ago. Everything had been normal, and Fubuki had been happily talking with their mother about a game she had played with Aki. When Amaryllis looked into Fubuki's eyes, their arbitrium energies resonated unexpectedly. Attempts to stop the reaction only worsened the situation. Fubuki had wanted to talk to Aki about the incident for years, but felt too guilty. She believed she caused their parents' deaths. Amaryllis insisted it was not her fault, but Aki still blamed Fubuki. The stress became too much for Fubuki, and she collapsed. Aki suggested taking her to a hospital, but Amaryllis explained that doctors could not help. Fubuki had developed a serious illness preventing her from producing her own arbitrium, so she could only survive with help from outside sources. Scientists and doctors had tried to cure her but failed. Amaryllis had been secretly collecting arbitrium from other mecha users to keep her alive, but the disease was progressing, and Fubuki's time was limited. The next morning, Hikaru woke up to Alma, expecting Aki to fly through the window as usual. Instead, she rang the front doorbell politely, a behavior that immediately made Hikaru and Alma sense that something was wrong. He did not ask questions when Aki refused to explain. At that moment, Shirayama arrived with an idea to study together for a big upcoming test. She suggested Hikaru, Aki, and June join her at Hikaru's house. June, who had been observing Hikaru that morning, refused, saying he had not come to school to study. Shirayama continued insisting, even asking Aki to join. Aki declined calmly, saying visiting Hikaru's home every morning made studying there feel ordinary. Hikaru followed Aki, sensing that she was troubled. Meanwhile, at ARMS headquarters, a scientist worried about Aki's absence and asked Quen about it. Initially, he denied knowing anything but eventually admitted he might have influenced the situation Aki was facing. Elsewhere, Aki stayed with her sick sister while Amaryllis explained the desperate situation. Fubuki could not create Arbitrium herself, and the method of collecting it from other mecha users was no longer sufficient. Realizing how little time remained, Amaryllis urged Aki to do whatever was necessary to save her sister. At the same time, chaos erupted across the city. Many mecha users infected by Amaryllis began losing control of their powers and attacking others. That evening, Hikaru suddenly received an urgent message from Algis and rushed to ARMS headquarters. Algis explained the serious situation. Dozens of mecha users had gone berserk, and Aki might be involved due to her connection with the worm-type mecha user. Hikaru and Alma were shocked to think Aki might betray them. To them, she was a trusted ally. Algis reminded them that Aki had joined ARMS because her goals aligned with theirs, but if her personal goals changed, she might choose a different path. Hikaru refused to believe this and decided to find Aki before she could be captured. Quen noted that Hikaru had no idea where to start searching. He suggested using Wonner, a man who had previously tried to kill Hikaru. Though Wonner was reluctant, his mecha partner Kajimaru apologized to Hikaru for the past attack. Once captured by ARMS, Kajimaru's restraints had been removed, allowing him freedom. Kajimaru insisted on working with Wonner again to teach him the true meaning of justice. Wonner reluctantly agreed and promised to help Hikaru and Alma during the mission. As they searched the city, Kajimaru scanned for Aki's Arbitrium signal. Wonner complained and expressed his desire to go home, irritating Hikaru. They used acoustic sonar to track Aki's energy. Suddenly, Hikaru was attacked from behind, but Kimura pulled him away from danger. The attacker was June, who declared he would stay near Hikaru to discover the secret of his power. Meanwhile, information about June's activities reached another group, but his brother ignored it, focusing on business instead. Eventually, Kajimaru detected Aki's Arbitrium signal coming from a parking garage. As the group approached, they found Aki standing there, seemingly ready to follow Amaryllis's desperate plan to save her sister's life. Hikaru was surprised when Aki suddenly appeared in front of him. He asked where she had been, but she ignored him and stepped closer. Alma noticed that people had seen Aki with a worm-type mecha user, which made Hikaru wonder if Aki was continuing her old mission of revenge. Instead of explaining, Aki told him to come with her. When he refused, she angrily attacked him. Before she could reach him, June Kagami intervened, blocking her attack because he considered Hikaru his target. Aki tried to push Kagami aside, but his chain powers were strong, and he restrained her easily. Hikaru quickly grabbed Kagami from behind and ordered him to stop. Kagami released the chains, allowing Aki to break free. Hikaru tried to calm everyone down, offering his help to Aki and asking her to explain the situation. At that moment, Aki's mecha partner revealed a shocking truth. Aki's younger sister, Fubuki, was still alive but extremely sick. Her mecha Amaryllis, explained that saving her life required a huge amount of Arbitrium energy. Hikaru possessed the rare trigger arm, which produced enormous energy, potentially enough to save Fubuki. June found the situation amusing, thinking Amaryllis was only controlling Fubuki to manipulate Aki. Despite the warning, Hikaru agreed to help Aki because he believed in their friendship. Alma supported him, saying that their bond could overcome any problem. June, however, refused to trust Aki and vowed to defeat Hikaru to take the trigger arm. Seeing Hikaru's kindness made Aki reconsider her actions. She realized that taking his energy would be the fastest way to save Fubuki, but not the only way. Aki admitted that her desire for revenge had driven her actions, but insisted that the problem with Fubuki was personal and needed to be resolved by her alone. Meanwhile, members of the ARMS organization discovered hidden information about Amaryllis in a backup server belonging to the Kagami group. Records showed that Amaryllis had been part of an experiment, labeled Test Number 7, and connected to an old incident where 4 people, including Fubuki, had died. Amaryllis was described as a worm-type mecha-yude that could separate parts of its body to control human hosts. Quen studied videos of Fubuki's movements and confirmed this information. Later, Aki returned to see her sister, who was weak and depressed. Aki told Fubuki that Hikaru would not be helping them and that they needed to find another solution. Fubuki was hurt, accusing Aki of caring more about Hikaru than her. Crying, she said Aki was letting her suffer like in the past. Feeling guilty, Aki decided to try helping Fubuki using her own arbitrium energy. At the same time, Alma encouraged Hikaru to go after Aki. Hearing the sisters' conversation troubled him, making him question whether he helped people out of genuine care or just to feel good about himself. Jun became angry at Hikaru's doubts, recalling a similar argument with his own brother. Alma comforted Hikaru, assuring him that his desire to help was real. Hikaru then asked Wonner and Kajimaru to track Aki's location. Quen discovered that Amaryllis was secretly controlling Fubuki's body. He also realized someone had activated a dangerous weapon, forcing the hidden mecha-yude to act. Quen questioned why ARMS had never told Aki her sister was alive, understanding that the organization feared she could not handle knowing the creature responsible for her family's death was now controlling Fubuki. Their decision to hide the truth had only made things worse. Back with the sisters, Amaryllis told Aki her powers alone were not enough to save Fubuki and hinted that Hikaru's energy might still be needed. Aki refused to accept this. Suddenly, Fubuki lifted a doll and began acting strangely, cold and mocking. She said that if Aki would not fulfill her role, she needed to be punished. The dolls attacked Aki, shocking her. Fubuki mocked Aki, saying she had allowed herself to play the hero. Aki panicked and demanded to know what had happened to the real Fubuki. Amaryllis accused Aki of selfishness and attacked fiercely. Sinis and Dex helped Aki escape the first assault, while Fubuki's dolls continued attacking. For a brief moment, Fubuki regained control and begged for help, but Amaryllis used this moment to weaken Aki emotionally and captured her and her companions with chains. The possessed Fubuki calmly approached Aki. Amaryllis reminded Aki of the past accident, explaining that her parents had blamed a doll for causing trouble. Then Amaryllis revealed the terrible truth. She herself had killed Aki's parents and felt no regret. Aki was shocked and heartbroken. At that moment, Hikaru arrived with Alma and Jun Kagami. He immediately attacked Amaryllis, punching her. Aki was annoyed, but Hikaru insisted on helping. Fubuki tried to grab him, but Kagami blocked the attack. Amaryllis trapped Hikaru with chains, and Jun attempted to restrain her using his abilities, but she mocked him for using an imperfect version of his powers. Amaryllis advanced to absorb the trigger arm's energy from Hikaru. Aki tried to protect him but was overpowered. Amaryllis mentioned that a similar event had happened 100 years earlier, surprising Alma, who wondered how she knew so much about the trigger arm. At a critical moment, Hikaru released a powerful burst of arbitrium. Amaryllis greedily absorbed it, excited by the power. Hikaru and Alma increased the energy further, causing Amaryllis's metal body to crack and a huge explosion to occur. Although the blast seemed to end the fight, Amaryllis reappeared almost unharmed. Hikaru was now weak from using so much energy. Jun Kagami took control, using his chains to repeatedly attack Amaryllis and cause serious damage. At that moment, Fubuki opened her eyes and saw Aki protecting her. Amaryllis launched another attack with the dolls, but Hikaru and Alma acted first, combining their powers into a strong form recognized by Amaryllis. She attacked wildly, but Hikaru moved quickly, avoided her strikes, and landed a powerful punch to her eye. In pain, Amaryllis accused Alma of causing the death of Yakumo Kagami and the suffering that followed. Shortly after, the worm-type mecha-yude was finally destroyed. Alma reflected quietly on the strange truths he had learned. Fubuki looked at Aki with admiration, calling her a true hero. The next morning, Hikaru expected Aki to appear as usual, but she was absent. Suddenly, she crashed through his window, telling him to get ready for school. On the way, she asked him to help her study to teach Fubuki some things. Fubuki was now receiving treatment from the ARMS organization, and both Aki and the organization would protect her. Alma joked that Hikaru should be happy he would not be lonely in the mornings, making him embarrassed. Aki assured him she would continue visiting every day, and Shirayama secretly felt excited. Elsewhere, a Kagami group director completed the final tests for activating a mysterious gate that could open a portal to the Mechayude world and control its inhabitants. He still needed Hikaru's trigger arm to finish the plan. Though help was offered by the White Crows, the director refused and decided to continue alone. Back at Hikaru's house, Alma thought about his hidden past. Meanwhile, the spirit of Amaryllis, desperate to return to a body, met a mysterious figure. The broken Mechayude protested, insisting she had not betrayed her host, but the unknown figure forcibly removed her from her current body, leaving her fate uncertain. The morning began quietly for Hikaru. Two unfamiliar figures approached him and Aki in a suspicious manner. Nearby, Kazuha, who had failed a previous mission to capture Hikaru and lost his mecha partner as punishment, he prepared to arrest Hikaru. Before he could act, Aki grabbed Hikaru's hand and jumped onto a passing truck with him, while Alma apologized for causing trouble. Hikaru reassured him, promising they would face every challenge together until Alma fully recovered his lost memories. Their moment was interrupted by Sinis and Dex arguing about breakfast, making Hikaru smile despite the chaos. Hikaru soon realized the truck was heading in the wrong direction, away from school. Suddenly, the driver was knocked unconscious by a dart, revealing the arrival of the Kagami group, who had come to capture him. Among them were Nanba, leader of the 3rd Division, Forut, and a new recruit. Nanba ordered a quick attack, and Forut fired a barrage of sharp spikes at the truck. Aki protected Hikaru by pulling him behind the vehicle. She urged Hikaru to run to school, but Kazuha blocked his path. Kazuha saw capturing Hikaru as a chance to restore his reputation. Amid the confusion, Aki shouted for Hikaru to continue running, but his path was blocked by the unconscious recruit, who was ready to attack. Aki tried to surprise Forut from behind, but Forut avoided the attack and accidentally collided with Kazuha, knocking him down. Both enemies crashed to the ground. Nanba, seeing his team beaten, decided to end the mission and called for their removal. After restraining the enemies, Alma tried to tell Hikaru something important, but Aki interrupted because she had tangled herself. While Hikaru helped free her, Kazuha recovered and launched a surprise attack. Alma blocked it, but Hikaru slipped and hit his head, losing consciousness. When he woke up, everything was calm. The Kagami members were restrained, and Alma felt guilty about Hikaru's injury, though Hikaru reassured him it was not his fault. Alma then revealed something unexpected. He believed Hikaru would be safer if Alma stayed away, as he did not want anyone else hurt because of him. At ARMS headquarters, Algis explained that Alma possessed a rare ability to generate his own arbitrium energy, which had likely returned when his memories came back. Everyone was surprised, as this information had never been revealed. Algis told everyone to stay alert. Hikaru offered to help with the search, but Algis refused, saying that Alma could now act independently. Quen tried to comfort Hikaru, suggesting that he could return to a normal life. Hikaru rejected the idea, feeling that after everything he had experienced with Alma, he could not simply go back to normal. Seeing Hikaru's determination, Algis and Fist explained the full truth. In the distant Mechayude world, arbitrium energy was almost gone, putting the Mechayude race at risk of extinction. Eventually, they arrived on Earth after their energy ran low. Yakumo Kagami discovered Alma near his family's mine. A powerful earthquake struck, and Yakumo survived only by merging with Alma. Meanwhile, Hikaru stood alone on a bridge, reflecting on everything that had happened. He received a call from June, but it was Alma on the line. Alma remembered the day he first met Hikaru and admired his kindness. Before they could act further, Todo appeared in the alley, confronting them aggressively. On the bridge, Hikaru continued reflecting on his purpose when Aki arrived. She asked if he had found Alma, and Hikaru said Alma did not need him anymore. Aki punched him in frustration but apologized, explaining she could not bear to see him act so defeated. Hearing this, Hikaru realized she was right. Before they could act, ARMS headquarters contacted them with urgent news. The Kagami group had captured Alma and planned to use him to unseal Orila once again. Although the situation looked hopeless, June refused to run away. With strong determination, June attacked Todo using his trigger arm. However, Todo stopped the attack easily without even trying very hard. Then Todo grabbed Alma and pulled him away from June. He explained that he was simply following orders given by Jun's older brother. According to him, it would be unfair to blame him because he was only obeying commands. The young Kagami was tied up and thrown into a vehicle. As he sat there feeling humiliated, Jun remembered the harsh words of his brother Naohito. Meanwhile, Hikaru was being carried by Aki. Hikaru tried to protest. During this time, she received a call from Quen. He explained that he was sending help so they could find a safe way to enter the enemy base. However, when the help finally arrived, it created more chaos than assistance. Wonner and Hikaru suddenly appeared and made a loud entrance that immediately attracted attention. Wonner admitted that he had almost given up on the mission, but his robot partner insisted that this was their best chance to enter the enemy stronghold. Unfortunately, their noisy behavior alerted several Kagami agents nearby. Wonner began shouting even louder in frustration, which made Hikaru suspect that they might be causing trouble on purpose. Aki became irritated and called Quen again to ask when the rest of their team would arrive. Before she could finish the call, the connection suddenly stopped. Communication signals were being blocked across the area. At the same time, Algis quietly arrived at the Kagami headquarters. He brought two surprising things with him: the powerful trigger arm and Jun Kagami, who had been captured earlier. His arrival caught everyone's attention. Inside the base, representatives of the Kagami organization proudly displayed their newest project, the Orila Gate. Jun listened to this plan with obvious discomfort. Tadu asked him if he disagreed with the project because of personal feelings. At that moment, Naohito himself arrived and ordered the experiment to begin. He walked past Jun without even looking at him. Soon an employee reported that the trigger arm was ready for use. Alma had been trapped inside a glass container and was forced to act as the key to activate the portal. Alma struggled desperately and tried to warn them. He explained that Orila was extremely dangerous and should never be used this way. However, the people in charge were blinded by greed and ignored his warnings. The process continued. Alma was struck with a powerful electric shock that produced the energy required to start the machine. Suddenly, a giant hand belonging to Orila appeared. Orila then released a powerful energy beam that melted part of the building. Even as chaos spread, Naohito remained calm. Naohito dismissed his concerns and claimed everything was proceeding correctly. However, Orila continued to grow larger and broke through the structure of the building itself. Outside, Hikaru and Aki watched in horror as a terrifying creature formed above the building and began firing destructive energy rays. Some people tried to flee using a helicopter while carrying the valuable trigger arm with them. Hikaru intercepted the helicopter and demanded that Alma be returned to him. Quen arrived to help the arms team by providing support from a distance. However, the situation quickly became messy. Hikaru managed to escape during the confusion, leaving Quen to deal with the enemies alone. Forut attacked Quen, forcing him to retreat. Since he was not a trained fighter, the scientist tried to stall for time. In desperation, he even combined with a mecha to defend himself. Unfortunately, the sudden power caused Quen to lose control for a moment. His attack almost hit his own allies. Tuz arrived just in time and fired his rifle with great accuracy to protect everyone. At that moment, Aki finally arrived, leaping into the battlefield while carrying Hikaru and Wonner with her. Aki told Sinis and Dex to stay back while she grabbed Kazua's mecha partner directly. Kazuha laughed at her and rejected her words when she said that blaming tools instead of accepting personal mistakes showed weakness. He charged again, but this time Sinis and Dex moved quickly and struck him with a powerful attack that defeated him once and for all. After the battle ended, a man applauded their performance. Aki was not interested in talking and immediately rushed toward him at incredible speed. Despite looking tired, Nanba avoided her attack easily. Eventually, Aki lost her patience and launched a full attack. Nanba drew his sword to defend himself but soon became tired and ended the fight by simply leaving because his work shift was finished. During the confusion, Hikaru and Wonner were captured by other Kagami agents. Just as the aircraft was about to leave, a large man suddenly appeared beside Keano and stopped the helicopter from flying away. Forut joined the fight and fired several attacks that sent Kajimaru and Wonner crashing toward their enemies. At the same time, the project director grabbed Forte's mecha and attacked Hikaru, warning him to stay away from the plan. Hikaru refused and declared that he would not abandon Alma because Alma was his trusted partner. Kajimaru struck the director from behind, giving Hikaru the chance he needed. Hikaru quickly recovered the trigger arm and defeated the director with a powerful strike. Later, Alma regained consciousness. Alma blamed himself for awakening Orila in the past, which had led to Yakumo's death. The guilt from that tragedy still haunted him. Hikaru refused to accept this. He encouraged Alma to stop running from his pain and reminded him that they needed to face the danger together. Their mission was to stop Orila before it destroyed everything. Alma was deeply moved by Hikaru's kindness and determination. Finally, he accepted that he did not have to fight alone. The two partners decided to stand together and continue the battle as a team. The group jumped from the helicopter and rushed toward Orila. As they advanced, Orila created a huge barrier made of shining crystals. The wall blocked their path completely. The team tried to break through it by attacking the crystals, but their efforts failed. While everyone searched for another solution, Keanu studied the crystal barrier carefully. Powerful material that neither humans nor Mechayud could normally destroy. Because of this, ordinary attacks would not work. Keanu then explained that the only possible way to defeat Orila was to target the special rings connected to him. These rings had originally been created by Alma in the past, and were meant to seal Orila's power. If the rings could be struck correctly, there was a chance to weaken the monster again. Hikaru and Alma immediately agreed to try. Hikaru found it harder and harder to dodge the beams. Realizing he needed help, Hikaru called out to Quen and asked if there was any way to contact Aki. At the same time, Tuz prepared her Mechayud weapon for battle. Aki stood beside her and worked with Sinis and Dex to keep the enemy distracted. With Aki helping her handle the heavy recoil, Tuz fired a massive shot toward Orila. The powerful attack struck the monster directly. Orila quickly fired a deadly laser in return that almost knocked Tuz out of the fight. Fortunately, Kajimaru and Keanu protected her by raising strong energy shields. While Orila focused on that attack, Hikaru and Alma quietly approached from behind. They launched a surprise strike and successfully hit one of the rings connected to Orila. The impact caused Orila's body to shrink for a short moment. Everyone believed the plan had worked and that his power had been sealed again. However, their relief did not last long. Orila suddenly returned to his original size and began attacking with even greater force. The giant creature focused his attention on Hikaru and fired many laser beams at him. Hikaru struggled to escape the constant attacks. Tuz fired another carefully aimed shot to support him, but Orila still chased Hikaru without stopping. Hikaru began to fear that he might not survive the battle. Just as the situation looked hopeless, June suddenly appeared and rescued Hikaru from the deadly attack. Unstable and might collapse at any moment. Curious about June's strength, someone asked how he managed to break the crystals so easily. June answers. Hikaru was impressed by June's new fight. Keanu explained that Orila had already bound Orila with powerful energy. The monster fought back with many laser blasts, forcing June to struggle to keep control. He shouted for Hikaru to act quickly. Hikaru responded by releasing Alma's hidden power. After the battle ended, June suddenly turned away and started leaving. Hikaru felt confused and asked why he was going. June simply said it was a personal matter and walked away without explaining further. June later went to a quiet alley where he met his older brother Naohito. June angrily told his brother to stop pretending because he already knew the truth. Tadu had previously revealed that Amaryllis was secretly controlling Naohito. Amaryllis mocked June and called him a defective creation, believing that he had once had with Tadu. Tadu had said that everything was happening according to Naohito's plan. However, Tadu had not expected June to steal the Uroboro's power. Later Tadu demanded that June return it, but June negotiated a deal. He said he would give it back after using it toward his brother. He believed that Naohito had been secretly controlling everything without trusting him. Meanwhile, in another place, Hikaru spoke with Alma. Alma thanked him for always supporting him. He asked Hikaru to stay with him until the day he could finally return to his home world. Hikaru promised that he would continue helping him. Algis soon arrived as well. Alma spoke to Fist and said that he had finally accepted his painful past. He believed that humans and Mechayud should now work together to save their shared world. El rushed to Hikaru's side, just as Tadu revealed a shocking truth. He explained that Amaryllis had secretly controlled Naohito ever since he became the leader of the Kagami group. Even more disturbing was the fact that she had manipulated several previous leaders before him. However, Naohito had actually discovered the truth earlier and had created a secret plan. In the past, Naohito had witnessed his own father being controlled by Amaryllis. This horrifying event pushed him to investigate her true nature. He discovered that Amaryllis had been controlling members of his family for generations in order to drain their life energy. Realizing that June might become her next victim, Naohito created the Ouroboros power so that it could one day destroy her. Naohito had shared this plan with Tadu. However, Tadu believed that June was strong enough to face the truth and advised Naohito not to hide the plan from him. Back in the present, Naohito regained consciousness after being freed. He apologized. Naohito finally admitted that he had underestimated his younger brother. June then declared that he would one day surpass Naohito and become the next leader of the company. Despite this argument, Naohito said that they still needed to sell everything they owned, suggesting that a final battle was approaching. Meanwhile, Aki learned another shocking piece. He was filled with shock and fear. The man standing before them was none other than Yakumo. Hikaru was completely shocked when he saw Yakumo standing in front of him because everyone had believed Yakumo had died a long time ago. The truth soon became even more disturbing. Fist explained that Yakumo really had died, but Fist had been controlling Yakumo's body like a puppet in order to carry out his own plans. He revealed that after the mysterious accident in the past, he had evolved in a way similar to Alma and Amaryllis. Because of that evolution, he had gained the ability to produce arbitrium energy on his own. Fist reminded Alma that the purpose of their existence in this world was connected to Orila. Alma admitted that Orila might have the power to save their people, but he refused to risk the safety of the human world just to awaken that dangerous force. Fist clarified that he did not want to awaken Orila completely. Instead, he wanted to remove the seal that held Orila back and then use its power for himself. Fist offered Alma one final chance to join his side, but Alma firmly refused because he did not want humans to suffer. Disappointed with Alma's answer, Fist decided to continue his plan alone. He locked Alma in heavy shackles and merged with him so that he could break Ordila's seal by force. When Fist started leaving with Alma, Hikaru tried to stop him, but his body was already too weak from the earlier battles. Aki and June arrived soon afterward to warn Hikaru about the danger. Hikaru explained the situation and said that they needed to follow Fist quickly. Aki and June briefly argued about who should go with Hikaru. Aki decided that June should help him while she stayed behind to take care of Tadu, who had been badly injured during his attempt to stop Fist earlier. With the decision made, June joined Hikaru and the others as they moved down a huge spike-like structure toward the ground. Their destination was a massive crater connected to Orila. They arrived just as Fist was preparing to remove the seal. The confrontation began immediately. June had no interest in discussing Fist's beliefs. His only goal was to take Alma back. Fist dismissed June's efforts as meaningless, but at that moment his body suddenly malfunctioned. June quickly took advantage of this weakness and attacked, managing to free Alma from Fist's control. Aki jumped forward from June's position and delivered a powerful punch that sent Fist flying away. When she attacked again, Fist reacted quickly. He trapped Sinis and Dex with energy shackles and grabbed Aki by the neck, holding her in place. Then Fist revealed another hidden part of his plan. From inside June's jacket, he pulled out a fragment of Amaryllis that had been secretly placed there earlier. The weakened Amaryllis begged for power. Fist injected her with a special substance that caused her body to grow into a giant and extremely powerful form. The enormous Amaryllis quickly attacked Aki and knocked her aside. Hikaru wanted to help fight her, but June stopped him because his own mecha was better suited to face that enemy. June fought fiercely and slammed Amaryllis into the ground. After that, he turned his attention toward Fist. However, Fist was already familiar with June's mecha technology. He stole control of the system and formed an additional mechanical arm on his back. While June stood stunned, Amaryllis secretly attacked from behind and pinned him to the ground. Just as Fist prepared to strike, Hikaru attacked from behind. The attack failed to harm Fist, but it distracted him long enough for June to escape. Fist then focused on Hikaru and tried to pull Alma away from him again. He warned Hikaru that he would lose an arm if he refused to surrender. Hikaru refused to give up and poured all his remaining strength into Alma in a desperate attempt to escape. The sudden surge of energy surprised Fist and caused his mechanical systems to malfunction. Although he controlled Yakumo's body, the corpse had already decayed and depended heavily on machines to remain functional. Realizing the body would not last much longer, Fist grabbed Hikaru and dragged him into the crater. There he tore Alma away once more and began using him to break the seal that held Orila's power. A shell of pure Arbitrium energy formed around Fist as he started absorbing Orila's power. As the energy flowed into him, Fist offered Alma one last chance to share the power. Alma ignored the offer and instead called out to Hikaru, encouraging him to keep fighting. Fist could not understand why his own brother continued to reject him. Fist released a wave of energy that drained the Arbitrium from every human in the city. People collapsed everywhere as their energy was taken away. Amid the chaos, Hikaru refused to give up and slowly stood again. Together, Hikaru and Alma resisted Fist's control so strongly that Fist was forced to tear Alma away completely, even losing his own arm in the struggle. Even though Alma was his own brother, Fist showed no mercy and fired a deadly blast at him. Alma could not react in time, so Hikaru pushed him aside and took the hit himself. Angry that his attack had been wasted, Fist prepared to fire again. However, the energy shell around him finished forming and his body began merging with Orila's power. At the same time, Amaryllis absorbed the endless energy coming from Orila, growing stronger and craving even more power. Fist ordered her to guard him until the process was complete. June and Aki soon arrived at the battlefield. Amaryllis immediately attacked them. June blocked her attacks while Aki froze in shock after seeing Hikaru lying motionless in the crater. Meanwhile, Aki managed to pull both June and Hikaru out of the crater. Back at the arms base, Keano analyzed the strange energy coming from the shell surrounding Fist. She discovered that they had only 30 minutes before Fist completed his fusion with Orila. Once that happened, he would be able to drain Arbitrium from every human on Earth. Soon Aki was found by other members of ARMS and brought back to the base along with Hikaru and June for medical treatment. Hikaru's injuries were extremely severe, and the team had very little equipment to help him. When Aki regained consciousness, she was told that Hikaru was still alive but barely surviving. The doctors warned that saving him would be extremely difficult. June was lying unconscious in another bed while Naohito watched over him with deep guilt. He believed that June had been dragged into a conflict that should have been handled only by adults. Elsewhere, the remaining team gathered inside an analysis tent to discuss their next move. Their only weapon capable of breaking the powerful Arbitrium shell was June's mecha. Since June was still unconscious, Tadu would have to pilot it instead. However, Amaryllis was guarding the shell closely, which made approaching it extremely difficult. Aki volunteered to distract Amaryllis while the city evacuation began. At the same time, a mysterious woman named Shirayama ignored the evacuation order and focused on creating more chaos. When she saw Kazuha and the others moving June, she decided to wake him because she believed that his reunion with Hikaru would cause even more disorder. While this was happening, Aki led the White Ravens team in an attack against Amaryllis. At first, Aki gained the advantage, but Amaryllis mocked her by mentioning Hikaru's critical condition. The words caused Aki to hesitate. Amaryllis used that moment to knock Aki down and continued taunting her. Suddenly, a smoke bomb exploded, and Keano signaled that help had arrived. Fubuki appeared along with Sinis and Dex. Together, they launched a strong counterattack and finally defeated Amaryllis. However, their worst fear became reality at that exact moment. Fist completed his fusion with Orila's power, and at the same time Hikaru's heart monitor went silent. Hikaru falls asleep and begins having a strange dream. In the dream, he hears someone calling for help repeatedly. The voice sounds desperate, but Hikaru feels too tired and decides to ignore it, falling back asleep. Meanwhile, in the real world, something terrible is happening. Hikaru's heart has stopped, and the people around him believe he has died. At the same time, the cocoon surrounding Fist finally breaks apart. As it shatters, Fist awakens with a terrifying new power called Orila. His appearance and strength change, showing that he has become far more dangerous than before. Elsewhere, the group remains trapped under rubble. Oner becomes worried because they cannot escape. Kazuha suggests smashing the rocks blocking their way, but a student warns him that doing so carelessly could cause the entire area to collapse. Shirayama looks to his mecha Yude, asking if it can help them escape. The mecha Yude explains that it is only a tool and cannot communicate like humans. Nearby, June questions Kajimaru about the mecha Yudes of two other students, hoping their abilities might help. Kajimaru explains that Two's mecha Yude is called Scythe, which can sense light and could help locate an escape path. Kazuha's mecha-yude, Adele, is extremely intelligent and capable of quickly analyzing situations. Kajimaru believes that if Scythe and Adele work together, they may find a way for everyone to escape. June immediately orders Tuz and Kazuha to remove the restraints limiting their mecha-yudes. Tuz goes first. Once freed, Scythe awakens but screams loudly, shocking everyone. She explains that she has regained the ability to speak after being silent for 30 years. She recognizes Kajimaru and is happy to see he is alive. She also senses light from a certain direction, indicating a possible way out. Kazuha hesitates to release Adele, fearing it might seek revenge after being restrained so long. June explains that Adele's abilities are necessary for escape, convincing Kazuha to free it. Adele studies the situation by connecting to Scythe and Kajimaru, reading their memories to understand everything quickly. Once informed, Adele creates a detailed escape plan. The plan involves Scythe firing her weapon, Arbitrium, behind Kazuha while the other students hold him in place. Kajimaru must shield everyone to prevent injuries when Scythe unleashes her full power. At the right moment, the students will release Kazuha, using the momentum to smash through the rubble. Adele emphasizes that perfect timing is critical for the plan to succeed. June agrees to lead the execution. Everyone takes their positions. Scythe fires Arbitrium, and the students struggle to hold Kazuha. Adele transforms into a giant fist, boosting the attack. When June signals, the students release Kazuha. He is launched forward with incredible force, breaking the rocks and creating an opening. Thanks to their teamwork, everyone escapes. They celebrate, relieved to survive, but notice the large cocoon nearby has been destroyed, leaving them puzzled. June immediately orders Wonner and the others to bring him to Hikaru. At the camp, Hikaru appears extremely weak, seemingly dead. June asks Aki to help save him and explains to Naohito that he plans to use a device called Asclepius to bring Hikaru back to life. Asclepius can control the flow of Arbitrium, the same power that had helped June recover from his illness. June believes that if everyone channels their Arbitrium into Hikaru, it might restart his life. Naohito warns that using Asclepius in this way is dangerous, as it could be destroyed by controlling so much Arbitrium at once. He reminds June that the device cannot be rebuilt and was meant only to treat June's illness. Despite the risks, June insists on proceeding, valuing Hikaru's life above all else. Seeing June's determination, Naohito allows it. June places Asclepius inside Hikaru's body and explains the plan to everyone. At first, the others hesitate because the risk is high, but June reminds them of Hikaru's past sacrifice to protect them. Motivated by this, everyone agrees to help. They gather around, holding on to Asclepius as June begins the procedure. Inside the dream, Hikaru is confused, but suddenly feels June's hand reaching for him. He hears the voices of his friends calling his name, and their Arbitrium flows into his body. Slowly, Hikaru begins to remember everything, but his Arbitrium level does not increase as expected. Adele comes up with a new idea. He asks everyone to gather closely, increasing the Arbitrium density. Following his instructions, they see the plan start to work. Meanwhile, Fist observes everything. His body begins crumbling from the power he used, and he realizes he needs a new body. He flies toward the group. Inside his dream, Hikaru recalls his friends and their efforts. Alma appears, telling him it is time to wake up. Hikaru activates Alma's power, preparing to return to the real world. Just as he is about to wake, a sudden explosion occurs outside. Fist arrives, seizing June's body and declaring it the perfect vessel. He now possesses the power to dominate the world, and at that moment, Hikaru finally appears. In a flashback, Tsukihito is shown talking with Fist while overhearing his family criticizing him. They complain that he is useless because he cannot produce an heir for the clan. Fist wonders why his family hates him, and Tsukihito explains that he is the oldest son but was born weak. Yakumo, his younger brother, had used his talents to expand the family business, which caused everyone to favor Yakumo instead. Despite this, Tsukihito says he loves his little brother and feels grateful for everything Yakumo has done for him. Fist then tells Tsukihito about his past plan before leaving his home world. He had appointed Alma as the leader of the mecha-yude, which was the most logical choice at the time. However, Fist admits that he now wants to reclaim that leadership. Tsukihito agrees with him and suggests they make a promise to always support their younger brothers no matter what happens. Later, Tsukihito wakes up to find that Yakumo's body is leaking an unknown substance. He removes Fist from Yakumo's body and reattaches him to Yakumo, reminding him to honor the promise they had made. Back in the present, Hikaru tells Alma that they must save June together. They launch a powerful attack, creating a huge explosion. Fist blocks their attack and reveals an enormous structure called the Arbitrium Amplifier. He explains that he plans to use it to take over the world and enslave humanity. Hikaru tries to fight him, but Fist counters with a massive laser beam. Hikaru recovers quickly and attacks from behind, smashing Fist into the ocean. Fist summons a giant crystal that pushes Hikaru back to the surface. Impressed, Fist realizes Hikaru is stronger than expected. Hikaru attacks again, and June regains control of his body, allowing them to land another hit. Hikaru tries to reason with Fist, but Fist punches him away, insisting that the body he inhabits belongs to him. Alma questions why Fist wants to enslave humans. Fist explains the tragedy from the past. After Tsukihito and Yakumo were killed, their relatives tampered with an Orila experiment to cause a meltdown. Alma is shocked, and Fist tells him that humans are responsible for the deaths of his brothers. He believes that humans are cruel and will never change, so it is better for him to control them. Alma refuses to join Fist, saying that Yakumo and Tsukihito would never support such actions. Hikaru tells Fist that humans are flawed but capable of moving forward, urging him to stop living in the past. Fist becomes angry and fires a powerful energy beam at Alma, but it has no effect. Alma fully sides with humans, and he and Hikaru launch a combined attack on Fist. Fist struggles to keep up as June regains control of his body and encourages Hikaru to fight at full strength. Hikaru and Alma charge head-on, striking Fist with overwhelming force and sending him crashing to the ground. Fist reflects on the death of Tsukihito, blaming humans for his passing. He struggles with his conflicting feelings. He loved Tsukihito but hated humans. Despite this inner conflict, he unleashes his full power. Hikaru declares that he wants to save Fist, and the two engage in an all-out battle. Fist's body is finally destroyed in a massive explosion. As he falls unconscious, he realizes that Tsukihito would never have approved of his actions. Sometime later, Wonner and Kajimaru deal with a young member of a criminal group. The boy is using modified shackles to control Mecha-Yude and believes only the strong should survive. Wonner enjoys punishing him, but Kajimaru stops him. The boy tries to escape, but To-Do shoots him, forcing Wonner and Kajimaru to stop playing around. After the mission, the team jokes about going to karaoke. Aki interrogates a criminal about Amaryllis, noting that the new shackles resemble her design. Fubuki reminds them it is time to leave, but they are unsure how to return to the lab. To-Do offers to guide them, revealing that he no longer works as Naohito's bodyguard. The team discusses the new criminal organization, noting that while Fist and Amaryllis manipulated the Mecha-Yude, the humans involved are still accountable for their actions. June emphasizes that their current goal is to create a way for humans and Mecha-Yude to coexist peacefully. Quen prepares to depart for the Mecha-Yude world. Aki arrives with the others, making him overjoyed to see her. Hikaru joins them, and together they open a portal to the other world. Alma realizes it is time to say goodbye. Hikaru gives him Fist's cube and allows Alma to keep his jacket, signaling a heartfelt farewell as Alma heads into the Mecha-Yude world. That's all for today, my fellow men of culture. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe the channel for more anime recaps.